Okay, so since everyone is here, let's start my my chit chat. So tell your friends it's chit chat time.
Chit chat time.
Alright, so how are you feeling today?
Excellent.
Yeah, okay, the energy is not there, but never mind. Let me take you off the office for a while, and I'm gonna share to you about travel photography, which I come with the title "Take Nothing But Photograph, Leave Nothing But the Footprints." Okay. So
You take a photo?
Nice.
yeah, I took that photo. Otherwise, I would not claim it, right? Yeah, that was the one in Stockholm. So, welcome all. I'm sure all of us are very well aware about travel because we are in the travel industry, but probably not many people knows about photography, and probably only certain people knows about travel photography. So, I'm gonna begin my sharing today to tell you guys and share with you guys what it means by travel photography. Okay, so what exactly it means by photography? The real definition you have to Google. Okay, but in my definition, photo is a photography branch which focus on the story of life, landscape, and culture of the country that you are going or the photographer is going. So, for instance, when you go to Thailand, what sort of thing that is very typical with travel photography is always, especially when you go to the island, is always their long tail boat. Okay, so for instance in Istanbul, what is associated with Istanbul, for instance, is always about their bridge and their typical habit of the people during the summer to go there and fish at the bridge. So that's the kind of thing that tell the story about the people over there. So when you look at the photo, you know that there is a story actually behind that. So that's the kind of photo that actually tell 1,000 words. You know, there is a famous saying that a picture tell 1,000 words, right? But a lousy picture don't tell anything. A bad picture don't tell anything. But a good one will definitely tell 1,000 words. Okay, so if you are aware about National Geographic, I hope everyone is aware about National Geographic. They are, for instance, the best and well-known example of travel photography, magazine, and also film production and so on, documentary. And what they produce is the most accurate, in my opinion, definition of travel photography and also photojournalism. All right. So, what is required to be good at travel photography? First of all, let's put aside all the gadgets and everything. It's all begin with you, which means you need to have the creativity and imagination. So regardless of whatever medium or devices that you use, if you're not creative, if you don't have the imagination to frame the photo in a certain way, it's useless, regardless of how expensive your camera or how expensive your phone is. So the basic requirement to get a good travel photography or travel photograph is you need either SLR, okay. The one I took just now, Stockholm, I took with this. And if you use SLR, you need a film. Okay, this is a film. This is the one I bought in Germany, I think. A few left over.
If you can find.
Yeah, it's still available everywhere over there. You need, if you are using smartphone, then make sure that it's a smartphone that comes with a good lens. For instance, I think certain Sony Ericsson phone come with a Vario Sona lens. So Vario Sona is the producer of the lens. So that's how you know that the lens actually is a good lens, because a good lens will give you a good photograph. Okay, and then a tripod. I wish I could show you where the tripod, but Faye is using it. So you don't. Sometimes for travel photography, you don't have the privilege to bring a big tripod because it's heavy and you're traveling with AirAsia, so you don't want to check in your luggage and everything. So a small one like this will do. As long as it's rock steady, it'll be fine. You need a basic of Photoshop knowledge if you shoot digital with, for instance, digital SLR. And you need a prime lens and wide angle. So what it means by prime lens is this one. So this is a prime lens. Okay. Why is it called prime? Probably because back in those days, if you cannot afford any other lens, this is the kind of lens that you would buy. That's why probably it's called prime lens. And the wide angle, I don't have it with me right now, but this is considered pretty wide. It can go up until 18 mm, so it's considered wide. Why do we need a wide lens? Because whenever you want to do travel photography, you want to capture the scenery and the people. Like you want to make a photo that tells something about the people over there, whether they are activity or their occupation, anything. Okay, so that's one. Okay, so those are some example of what is the requirement to be good at it. So far, is there any question regarding what is required to be good at travel photography? No. Yes, sir.
It's about the lens.
The lens.
Can you explain more? Like when you use the wide one, when you use the prime.
When you use the wide, when you use the prime. Okay. That requires a little bit technical detail, but never mind since you're asking. Wide lens is generally used to do landscape. So if you have, for instance, if you're standing in a square with a lot of, like usually in Europe there are a lot of big church, big building, and you're like somewhere in the middle of the park or middle of the square. So you want to frame everything into one photo, right? Let me show you an example of. For instance, this one. Okay. For instance, this landscape is made by using 18 mm. Because why? I want to make sure that this guy is in here as well, and the scenery at the back is also captured in the frame. So I need to use 18 mm, or even wider. The wider it is, the better. You get to capture more. But if you use, for instance, 35, okay, or 45, then it will zoom in more. Meaning the guy will be out of the picture. Maybe instead of focusing on the background, it will be focused here on the boat when you zoom in. So that's why you need wide lens for travel photography. And for prime, okay, for prime, because the specialization of prime lens is for getting the blurry background or for low light. So for low light application, for instance, that it produces a razor sharp images. And as you can see, it really focuses on this uncle, but the rest of the thing at the back is blurred out. So that's the purpose of having a prime lens. If I would do the same with this, okay, although it's the same distance, I will not get a picture as sharp as this. It might be blurry, it might be not sharp enough, there are not enough detail in there. So prime lens generally are more expensive than wide angle, but they produce a very, very good result. Okay. Next, is there any more question or shall we move on? Okay, move on. Right. Do's and don'ts in travel photography. Just a general one. Okay. Don't travel with that much of gear with you. You're not going there just for the sake of taking photos. Unless you are paid to do so, that's a different story. But if you, speaking about all of us, usually when we travel is for leisure. And don't trouble yourself bringing too much gear. What you need is as simple as a good camera, like a compact one like that, like Canon S90, and a tripod, and that will do. Okay, and the next one is don't offend the local with your photograph. If sometimes your creativity and your imagination goes beyond the normal limit of what we call as normal manner, so please be aware about that and be sensitive to the local, that whatever that we want to capture does not offend the local. Okay, and a good advice would be once you took a shot, capture with your subject. Let's say it's, for instance, normally a famous photo of African boy. For instance, like a lot of traveler, whenever they go to Africa, they like to do a close-up photo on an African boy, like their smile and all that. So, what I would suggest is, for instance, if you had the opportunity to do that, then share with them the result of your photo, because the smile that you get from your subject is something priceless. Like it's completely invaluable, and sometimes it's more important than the photo itself. Okay. And the fourth, do panorama. If sometime you happen to be in the middle of a square, for instance, and there are so many interesting things that you can capture, but you don't have such a wide lens, what you can do is you do panorama. What it means by panorama is something like this. So I was standing somewhere here, so I pan my camera from the right all the way to the left. Of course, this square, it doesn't look like this. It cannot be like this. It's like far apart. But using a wide angle lens plus panorama, I get to do this kind of imaging. Okay, so that's what it means by panorama. And occasionally, print your photos. Unfortunately, I do not have my whole stack of album with me because it's pretty big. But usually, whenever I shoot with my film camera, I will print it out and I'll put it in some sort of folder that I sort it in a way according to the country that I went to. And then, if you wanna, for instance, the next one, if you wanna get a good travel photography, try to go to underdeveloped countries. Like for instance, from here you can go to Laos, you can go to Myanmar, because in underdeveloped countries, they have all these genuinely kept cultures and scenery that is not polluted yet with skyscrapers and tall building and all that. So you have the opportunity to get the best out of the scenery in that particular country. Okay? So
It's Microsoft Eyes.
Microsoft Eyes, yeah. Eyes is image something editing. It's called Eyes. I think I have it here. ICE. Yeah, Microsoft Eyes. It's a freeware, but hardly people know about it. People are so focused on Photoshop and all that, but people forget about this Microsoft ICE. It's a freeware and it's good enough to do panorama. Microsoft Image Composite Editor. So what you have to do is you drag. If you do a panning photo, you select like 3 or 4. You take all of them and you drag into here. Okay, you drag, you put it here. Then the software will merge and do panorama out of all the photos that you take. So it's very easy solution. It's not the best, but it's free, and it can produce result as good as this. So I think it's good enough. So, alright. Regarding do's and don'ts, any questions?
No.
No. Okay. If so, I think that's the last part. If there is any more questions about it, if no, then yeah, bye and good luck in your journey. Okay?